much you have worked on React? How many months?
Yeah, it's 1 year, 8 months now.
1 year, 8 months. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Fine. So you currently also working on the React or Angular?
No, currently I'm working on React only.
Currently working. Okay. Fine. So other than leading, like you are also part into development also, right? So not just leading a team. Okay.
Yeah, core is development only, apart from the taking activities also.
Okay. So when you said that you are as a development from development perspective, right? You said that your responsibility is towards creating these components, right? You mentioned about that. Right? So is it only about creating the components and the UI part only, or the functional integration as well? You take care of it.
Yeah, we take care of functionality also. Like I have been involved in using Redux also. I use Redux also for the state management. So yeah, but coming to the UX part, right? So there is a separate team for this client. Like they take care of creating the UI components which are used in all the applications of the particular client. So we just import those packages, use those UI elements. On top of that, if we need any stylings to be done, right? So we do that. So I would say not primarily we are doing the complete UX part, but only the things which are needed on top of it.
Okay. Also, you mentioned about let's going to technical part. You mentioned about Redux as well. So, just wanted to know more about what is your understanding on this Redux and why you required Redux into your application. Right?
Yeah, sure. So, components. Each component can have state maintained at that particular component level, but I mean, if there's a parent-child relationship, also we can pass the props from one component to another. But what if there is no relation between any components? We want to use the same data across them, right? So that state management comes into picture. So to have the state management at the global level of the application, so that is when we are using this Redux. So we also have a context API as part of React.js, but what I have idea is for larger applications, right? So Redux will be more feasible when compared to context API is what I've heard. So yeah, that's why we are using Redux within our application.
Okay. So have you implemented or was it implemented already implemented and you are just using it, or how it is?
For this application, by the time I came to this application, right, there were already few components already developed. But for the newer components that I have been started developing, I have created the actions, rate users again for them.
Okay. So you have the idea how Redux works basically, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So what are actions? What are reducers? How they are connected to each other, right?
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a little more about it? So how a component, so for example, from a component you are making an action call to an action, and how things works basically in Redux.
Yeah, sure. So suppose any action is happening on UI, right? So on button click, I want to make some API call for submitting data or fetching data. So what will happen is we will be having map dispatch to props for that particular component where we have the action. So we'll be dispatching the particular action that we need. So based on the type that action has, right, that we declare in actions.js or the particular file. So we use Redux Saga as a middleware. So maybe I'll explain based on that how we do that application.
Sure.
Based on the action type, it will the Saga would be having a watcher Saga and a worker Saga. So watcher Saga will have the action type and the particular function which needs to be called when that particular action is dispatched. Suppose there is some action called submit, right? So for submit, we'll be giving one working Saga. So in that working Saga, we'll be making all the API calls that we need. So once we fetch the data, right? So we'll be calling the rate user like. So rate user will be having the different cases, right? So for each case, we'll be giving one value. So we'll be calling that particular value using yield, and in rate user, what we do, we'll be creating a copy of the state, and we'll be updating that particular state with the latest data that we get. So now what will happen, right? So the global store will be having the updated state, and we can use that state in the components wherever it's needed.
Okay. So you also mentioned about the Saga. So what exactly is Saga? What is the main purpose of the Saga in the Redux?
Yeah, so Saga we mostly use for side effects like any asynchronous calls or such stuff. suppose there is, Saga, what happens, right? Suppose there is one action already dispatched and the same action is dispatched again, right? So we can control, like we can either stop the previous action and execute this, or either we can do, the both can execute parallelly.
Okay. So is it not possible to, without using any middleware, to make this asynchronous calls in the Redux?
We can use promise, and also we have something called asynchronous API, right? So we can do that, but in our applications, I didn't get a chance to work on it.
Okay. Fine. So whatever the API calls you are making, right? So those are routing through Redux Saga, right? And there itself you are making this asynchronous calls, right? So say for example, there must be some function, right? Action creator would say, right? And that you are calling from your component, right? Say for example, you are clicking on some button and that this action creator has been called, right? And in that action creator, you are calling some API, right? You must be calling some API.
No, it's not like that actually. So whenever we are dispatching an action, right? So what happens, that particular action will be having type. So in action creators will be type and payload if needed, right? So that type would be corresponding to one function in the Saga file.
Right.
Okay, so whenever the action that type is dispatched, it automatically calls that watcher Saga.
Watcher Saga, right? Fine. So from there must be somewhere you have written this asynchronous calls to make this API call, right? Over Chrome, we are facing this signal issues every single day. Yeah. Okay. So I think we were discussing about this asynchronous calls, right?
Yeah.
So okay, my question was like, say, how do you handle these asynchronous calls? That was the main intention after asking it, right? So if you're making this asynchronous call, there has to be some way to handle the responses, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So for the API calls again, like we use Axios, right?
Axios.
So correct. So whatever data we are getting, we would be receiving it as part of DOM, or if maybe it's throwing an error, we'll be getting it as part of error. Hello. Yeah, I joined through.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's where we can handle the data that we are getting from the API calls, like use .then, right? So that is where we can handle the data.
Okay, that means you are using promises.
Yeah, correct. I mean, not like we are creating promises, like new promise and all.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. Basically chaining your these calls, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Okay. So what happens if let's say if I have to make 3 API calls, right? And I have chained those API calls. Let's say for example, just wanted to know how do you handle this scenario, right? Say for example, if let's say login page is there, right? And on my login button, I have to make 3 API calls, let's say, right?
Okay.
And based on those 3 API responses, I have to make the decision whether I have to make the user logged in or not.
Okay.
So what is your approach? How will you handle this?
Okay, is it like they can happen parallelly, or maybe based on one service we need to call the other one?
Okay, let's consider both the scenarios. One could be the sequential and the other could be the simultaneous one.
Okay. So simultaneous, like we can just call the 3 actions one after the other, so that the 3 of them will be the calls will be happening parallelly, right? And if we want to do it like sequential, like maybe based on one we need to call the other, maybe I will be calling one action first. So in that particular API call, right? So in then once we get the response, I will be like doing a yield of the other action, so that the other API call also will be happen. Yeah, so that's how we can do it.
Okay. So, okay, fine. So, what happens like say for example, the first API call is getting successful, right? If you have changed those APIs, right, sequentially, your first API is successful, and for some reason your second API is getting failed.
Okay.
What happens to the third one? Will it be called or not called?
Yeah, if second one is failing and we are doing the third call not then and we are doing it right, so then it might not be called.
Okay.
We are not getting the response right, so then maybe that third call will not happen.
Okay. Alright. So, okay, and considering the first example that is related to simultaneous mode, right, or simultaneous code.
Yeah, okay.
How do you handle or make the decision? Let's say you mentioned that you are calling all these calls, right? 3 calls at once.
Yeah.
So, but how do you handle whether your response is successful or not, or API is getting success or not? So, based on 3, let's say all the 3 APIs should get successful, right? Then only you have to make user logged in or not.
Okay. I'm not sure if this is the correct one, but we have something called access.all, right? So where we can have multiple calls we can keep. So maybe I'm thinking that would help this, but I'm not really sure on that.
Yeah. Should that help actually?
Yeah.
Okay. Coming to your component implementation, so have you so what type of components you have worked on?
Yeah. So I have used both functional components and class-based components as well. So I have an idea like why we use it like functional components. If we just want to, we don't want to use the state and just want to have a presentational part, right? So we can use functional components, and if we want state to be involved, and we want lifecycle methods to use all the lifecycle methods, right? So that is when we can use the component based and class based component. But again, this 16.8 hooks that have been introduced, right? So we can handle the state within functions as well. So within the function based component also, we can have the state use the React hooks.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't work on React hooks, but I just have an idea like how we can integrate hooks within the function-based component.
Okay. So haven't you tried any 1 or 2 components using hooks? Great.
Yeah. I have just used this use state, use effect for the lifecycle methods, right? So I have just used those both alone. So use context, I just have an idea like in order to have the React context to be used, right? So we can use the use context. But maybe there are still others, but I'm not sure at this point.
Okay. Fine. So what if you've given a choice, right? So for example, now that you are starting with a new project, let's say, right? And given you the freedom that what you decide how the component should be and how the project structure should be, right?
Yeah.
So what will be your approach? Like when do you choose to have this class component, or will you prefer only functional components, or what exactly? Or the combination of both?
Yeah. Without hooks you are asking?
No. I'm asking what is your preferences? How will you? Let's say new project you have been starting with, right? And given you the you have this option to structure the project, right?
Yeah.
How will you do that?
Yeah. So with this React hooks, right? So I can say that instead of like one scenario is suppose we are having similar code in component git mount and git update, and we are doing some unsubscribing will unmount, right? So it's like we are repeating most of the code. So at this point, I would feel using React hooks would help it. Like we can have one use effect where we can have the common logic and we can just return the unsubscribe logic. So maybe I would prefer React hooks if I'm going to build a new project.
Okay, entirely based on the hooks only.
Yeah, correct. And I'm not fully aware like what are the disadvantages of having React hooks yet. So maybe if I get more into React concepts, right? So I can just get I any details like what is missing as part of React, it's like it doesn't support something well, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So far you have just I know that you have a good experience into React, right? So far. Just wanted to understand how things work in React. See, you have also previously worked on Angular as well, right?
Correct.
So it's a completely different platform, right? And you moved to React, right? So how things work in React? How is the architecture of React? Just wanted to know what is your understanding.
Yeah, sure. So one thing in Angular, we were having the two-way data binding, right? So that is one thing we changed as part of React is like we just have the one-way data binding. And one more concept I would say the virtual DOM that has been introduced as part of React.js, right? So these are something that actually improve the performance of these applications. Like instead of getting the real DOM getting updated for even a small change, in the complete DOM getting updated even for a small change, right? So using this virtual DOM concept, we can control it.
Okay. So virtual DOM updates the changes, right?
Yeah.
Only that it handles only the changes, right? It actually tells the differences, what are differences, right?
Yeah, correct.
So let's say if any particular node in that DOM is updated, right?
Correct.
So only that particular node is reflected as updated one, or the entire tree from that node is then updated.
I think the entirety of that particular node will get updated.
Okay. Let's frame it in another way, right?
Okay.
Let's say again I have this login page, right?
Okay.
Now this entire screen is one component, because parent component, right? Now I have this child components where I have one title is there, right? Welcome to some application login screen or something. Second component would be your email address. Third would be your password, and login button is there, right? So you have these 5-6 components, right, in your login page, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So for some reason, for any reason, if my parent component is updated, maybe a new state is there or any new profiles is right? For some reason, right? Now what will happen to these child components? Your email input is there, password input is there, your buttons is there. So will these components will also update again or render again?
Yeah, I think they will be rendered again.
Okay. So is there any way to stop that? Because see, your inputs, let's say your button should not get rerendered, right? Again and again, every time your parent component is getting updated, right?
Yeah, correct.
So is there any way to stop that? Let's say in a DOM, one of the top level of node is or component is getting updated in your DOM. That means your entire
I got it.
Most of your DOM will be updated again, right? That means the entire tree will be. So that is not what the purpose, right?
Correct. I got it. So maybe I don't remember doing anything to stop that. So I think only that particular node gets updated is what. Because I don't remember doing something to stop specifically the child components getting rendered.
Right. Okay. Alright. So have you used pure components? Have you heard about it?
I just have an idea like pure components or pure functions, right? It's something, if you're giving some input to it, the output need to remain same every time you do the same logic, right? So, but I don't think we used extend pure component anywhere. We didn't use it.
Okay. So, but conceptually, do you know what it is?
I just have an idea like this is what pure functions do, but no, I don't have more details as such.
Okay. Not an issue. Okay. Alright. So in any state, like say for example in your class component you have these states, right?
Correct.
To update these states, there is one method called setState.
Correct.
Right. So what do you think, this method is a synchronous or asynchronous one?
Yeah, it's asynchronous only. Like, I mean, we can't assure that we will get updated value immediately after the set state.
Right. So this setState method also has one more optional parameter.
Correct. We can give the callback, like maybe after the set state the value is updated, then if you want some logic to be done, right, so we can do that in the callback.
Right. Fine. All right. Okay. So okay. So coming back to again this components, we were discussing about this components, right? So one more thing, just wanted to ask whether you have used or heard about higher order components.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't use it, but I have just gone through that, like with the sample example, like and we can create a function-based component, and like you can pass a component as input and return another component. Like it's mostly used for the reusability purpose.
Okay. All right. So how do you connect basically your Redux states are there, right? Your Redux.
Correct.
And you receive this new component, right? Props,
Correct.
the props, whatever maps it to props or whatever variables are there, right? So you receive that. So there is a method called connect. You connect your component to it, right?
Yeah, correct.
And that connect method will return some different component, right? You pass it's a method. So that means it's actually a higher order component itself.
Okay. Oh, yeah, got it. Yeah.
So that if you're using Redux or something, that means you are using higher order component also.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. All right. Fine. That's it from my end.